You're looking to buy a new Apple Watch, but you're not sure which one to get. Well, you've come to the right place because I'm going to go over the key differences between the Apple Watch Series 9 and the Apple Watch Ultra for most normal users, and maybe throw in my 2 cents on if the Apple Watch SE is still worth buying despite being a year older. Because believe it or not, while you may think spending more money on an Apple Watch defaultly equals better, that's not necessarily the case because there's a good chance you're overpaying for features you don't need, and there's probably a good chance there's some things you're not considering when buying an Apple Watch. And it's easy to see that this year's Apple Watch lineup looks exactly the same as last year, so why not spice it up with how your watch looks with a new band from Casetify? Yeah, not only does Casetify make excellent phone cases, but they also have some of the nicest feeling and looking Apple Watch bands. My favorite is their bounce bands, which feature a pin and tuck closure for putting it on very easily, and a precise and comfortable fit, and a nice ventilation design that lets them breathe easily on your wrist. It is the perfect, versatile daily wear band that looks good from your morning commute to your late night gym sessions. And let me just rave for a second about this orange color on this Casetify bounce band. Like, I find it so hard to find a good, comfortable watch band that looks good with my Apple Watch Ultra, and this band, it finally does the trick. It matches the orange accents of the digital crown and the action button, and the way it's designed makes it look really at home on the Apple Watch Ultra. And of course, it looks great with the sleek, clean, minimalistic colors on the Series 9 and Apple Watch SE. And if you're looking to dress up your Apple Watch, you may have noticed that Apple got rid of their leather bands, but Casetify has you covered here with a premium selection of leather bands that look really nice on the premium stainless steel Apple Watches, and they have a soft leather, and you can even customize your own initials for a nice personal touch on the band. And of course, it's Casetify, right? So they make Apple Watch screen protectors and cases, which not only protect your Apple Watch, but can also drastically change the way they look. So if you're upset about the lack of a black Apple Watch Ultra option this year, well, maybe all you need to do is slap on a Casetify case. To check out Casetify's wide selection of Apple Watch bands and case styles, click the link in the description below. And thank you to Casetify for sponsoring this video and for making my Apple Watch look new, even though it kind of looks the same. Okay, now the first differences that you need to be made aware of before you purchase an Apple Watch is design. And I put this first because the Apple Watch is different from a lot of our other tech purchases because it is something that we have to wear and we have to, be comfortable with not only how it feels, but also with how it looks. Now, the Series 9 and Apple Watch SE, they both have pretty similar designs and a pretty similar profile that's gonna fit most people's needs. Now, they are lighter and more comfortable to wear for prolonged periods of time than the Apple Watch Ultra. And it does fit easier under sleeves because they are also a lot thinner than the Ultra, which does have a thicker design. And I find that the Apple Watch Ultra, I kind of have my shirt cuff rolled up here, but if I have it down sometimes, it can kind of get caught in the shirt cuff collar. Now I gotta adjust my shirt to get it right again. There, that's better. Now you can see the watch again. Now, the size of the Ultra is not going to be for everyone. It only comes in a 49mm casing size, which is bigger than the 45 and 44mm casing designs on the Series 9 and the SE. On top of that, both the Series 9 and SE offer an additional smaller watch size at 41 and 40mm, which is great for smaller wrists. I've shown the Ultra 2 to a few of my family members, and while they did like the design and some of the exclusive features that I mentioned about it, their first question to me was, does it come in a smaller size? And the unfortunate answer to that is no. And I think this illustrates that while the design itself may not be off-putting to most people, the bigger size of it could be a hurdle for you, and it may be a reason why you don't want to go with the Ultra. But it could also be a benefit to you. The bigger screen on the Ultra 2 makes everything on it bigger, so you can see a bigger portion of the map for walking directions or more content in your emails and messages. And it also makes typing on the watch a hair bit easier than the 45mm Series 9. The Ultra supports exclusive watch faces that fit on its bigger display. It has the Wayfinder watch face and the new modular Ultra watch face, and the modular Ultra watch face has a lot of room. It has enough room for the complete digital time with the seconds countdown, 6 smaller complications and 1 big complication, and a seconds depth or elevation hand that animates around the watch bezel. These Ultra watch faces are really information dense, and I like them a lot, and I definitely miss them when I had to switch over to the Series 9. The other decision you have to make is how you want your watch to look on your wrist when it comes to the material design. The Series 9 and SE both use aluminum, and yeah, the SE does have a plastic back compared to the Series 9 ceramic back, but I really don't think that's a big difference considering you're not really seeing the bottom of the watch, and it really doesn't play that much into durability. Now, the aluminum watches look good and come in a wide variety of styles and colors, and they pair really nice with a simple Apple Watch band. This is by far the most popular Apple Watch style, so even though you may think the aluminum watch would look out of place when you're dressing up, I've been to enough functions where people are wearing this watch even when they're in suits or dresses, so I feel like it's mainstream enough to not really be out of place. People know what an Apple Watch is at this point, and they know if you're wearing one, like it's not like a big fashion faux pas. The Ultra 2 obviously has a more, rugged look, a more sportier look due to the thicker design and the, accented orange buttons. However, because it is using titanium, the main material of the body itself does look more premium than the aluminum Apple Watches, and despite it being bigger and thicker, I even think certain design elements like the raised lip around the display and the bigger digital crown with more defined ridges help give this watch a bit of character. The steel watch pairs nicely with more premium leather and stainless steel bands, and the shiny stainless steel gives it a very premium look. You'll also get nice upgrades thrown in, like cellular connectivity and a sapphire display, which does help prevent against scratches. Now, the big problem you have to be made aware of, though, is that this version does start at $699, which is only $100 away from the Apple Watch Ultra, which does have a lot more features. What are the feature advantages of the Apple Watch Ultra, you might ask? Well, there's quite a few. First of all, the Apple Watch Ultra is more durable than any of the other Apple Watches. The titanium body also holds up really well against impacts, scratches, and smudges, and it is very easy to take care of. The Ultra also comes with a sapphire display as standard, so again, it's really hard to scratch that display. And I have firsthand knowledge of this, right? I have owned an Apple Watch Ultra 1 for over a year, and it still looks like brand new. There's also some more practical design choices with the Apple Watch Ultra 2, like the action button on the side, which you can map to a quick action, like turning on the flashlight, doing a quick workout, or using it for the stopwatch, and more. And the Ultra 2 also features an even brighter display than the Series 9 at 3000 nits, which is kind of unparalleled for outdoor visibility. It's the brightest display that Apple makes. Now, the Series 9, it does have a pretty bright display as well. It gets up to 2000 nits, so it's not like you're not going to be able to see these watches in direct sunlight. It's just that the Apple Watch Ultra 2 is just a little bit more legible. And the Apple Watch SE only has 1000 nits of brightness. And look what I'm saying, only 1000 nits. That's actually still pretty bright for a display. Now, there's also a few other exclusive features on the Ultra 2 that I would describe as pretty niche and more likely kind of irrelevant in this comparison. Like, I'll mention them, but I think most people don't need these features. One of them would be the increased water resistance of up to 100 meters, which does make the Ultra 2 usable for high-speed water sports or recreational dives. But the Series 9 and SE both have 50 meters of water resistance, which is good enough for most people who are going to be swimming with this watch. Most people don't go scuba diving, right? There's also better speakers on the Ultra 2, which can enable a loud siren that can be heard from I think 600 meters away. And perhaps the most useful niche feature on the Ultra is a dual GPS system, which does more precisely track outdoor activity. So if you're running outdoors, you can more precisely see on the map the distance you ran, and it's pinging the GPS a lot more often, so it is more accurate. And for all the advantages that I gave to the Ultra 2 with all those upgrades, they are hardly worth the $400 upgrade from a regular Series 9. If those were the only exclusive features, I'd tell you to skip the Ultra. But there's one feature above all else that really changes how you use this watch, and that is battery life. The Apple Watch Ultra 2 battery life is pretty great, with it getting around more than double the battery life than my Series 9 or my SE. For example, I wore the Apple Watch Ultra 2 for a full day without any workout tracking, and my battery went from 100% to 78%, while my Series 9 would be around 45% of its battery life. After another full day with sleep tracking and an hour workout with my Apple Watch Ultra 2, the battery life was still at 34% at the end of the second day. Basically, if you're buying an Apple Watch Ultra, you can wear it for 2 to 3 days, even with workout and sleep tracking, without needing to charge it. Without sleep or exercise tracking, I'd bet that would last closer to 4 days. And I'll say it again, it really does change the way you use your Apple Watch. And personally, despite its larger and more uncomfortable size, The Ultra 2 is perfect for tracking sleep because you don't need to charge it frequently. It's also great if you are into fitness and have workouts that last longer than an hour because that is a pretty big battery drain, especially on the smaller battery size on the Series 9. The Ultra 2 battery life really does free up any remaining battery anxiety I had with the Apple Watch. But it also has another benefit, and that is that the watch ages better. I noticed this on my Ultra 1, which still had 97% of its battery health remaining after a full year of wearing it. And when I compared that against my older Apple Watches after a year of using them, their battery health was below 90%. My Series 7, when I last checked it, was at 88% of its battery health remaining. Obviously, I don't need to tell you that an $800 Apple Watch is expensive, but if you're buying an Apple Watch Ultra, you're probably planning to keep it for quite a while. So if you're going to keep it for the next 5 years, well, it's going to age much better than a Series 9 or an SE, which may require a battery swap or just dealing with less battery life as the watch ages. Now, other than those differences, the Series 9 and Ultra 2 have the same S9 chip, the same performance, the same 64 gigabytes of storage to store music and podcasts and all that stuff on. And both watches feature, the faster Siri responses, and they get an exclusive double tap feature, which apparently still isn't available yet as of the making of this video. Apple said it'd be available in October. It is available in the betas, but on the main software, it's not available to normal users. So we're still waiting for that. But yeah, the Series 9 and Ultra 2 both have all of those features. And they both have the same activity tracking, the same health sensors, and the same always-on display. So the main difference really boils down to design, size, durability, and battery life. If those are important to you, you can spend $800 on an Apple Watch Ultra. But the big question is it worth that $800 over a Series 9? Well, after owning one for a year, I actually think it is. And I do think that it is a better buy than the stainless steel Series 9 because for only $100 more, you get a watch with much better battery life, and I do think that's worth it. However, listen, the Series 9 is clearly the choice if you want a well-rounded watch with an always-on display and plenty of health features and excellent performance. It's also a really nice-looking watch with a display that goes edge to edge, and it comes in so many colors and finishes and has 2 different sizes, so it's much easier to find a style that fits you rather than the Ultra 1, which only gets one style choice. It's also more comfortable on your wrist because of its slimmer and smaller size. And it's also the clear choice if the exclusive features or the longer battery life on the Ultra 2 just don't interest you. Like, it isn't a big deal to charge your watch every night. And for most people, that's kind of just a habit. So for most people, I actually think the Series 9 is probably the right Apple Watch to get. Now, I know this video was primarily about the Series 9 and the Apple Watch Ultra 2 because those are new watches. The older Apple Watch SE is the same one from last year. But again, I do want to throw the Apple Watch SE in as another option because even though it may sport an older design and lack features like an always-on display, and it is slightly slower than the Ultra 2 and the Series 9, but hey, listen, it's not that slow. It's still a great watch. If you want the Apple Watch basics, which I think most people want, right? Like they just want to get the time, they want notifications on your wrist, they want activity tracking, well then the SE is a great watch for those features. And honestly, it really does even have the best life-saving features like high and low heart rate notifications and fall and car crash detection. I think it's the best starter Apple Watch, and it's a great watch for people on an older Series 3 who want a new watch with watchOS 10, but they don't want to spend a lot of money on an upgrade. The Apple Watch SE, still very viable in 2023. All right, but that is my video on all of the differences between these Apple Watch models and which one you should buy. Obviously, there's not a, winner take all here. There's different Apple Watches which are going to fit different people's needs or different styles and so on, right? So obviously, Apple has a pretty good lineup here, and I don't think there's a wrong choice, but hopefully this video helped you out in deciding which Apple Watch is right for you. So if it did, please give me a like. If you want to see more, make sure you're subscribed. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.